my name is Nayu and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I was thinking of ways to bring tutorials to you guys, and I thought and then I thought I was thinking too much about it. I'm not very good at sitting through very long tutorials with lots and lots of words because that's not really how I think. So I wanted to keep this as short as possible. For reference, I'm using Procreate on the iPad Pro 11-inch. So I thought I'll bring to you today how I blend. Let's just get straight into it. So let's start with the first one, Gaussian blur. So how I do this is that I duplicate this layer like this, turn on the Gaussian blur layer. I like to keep it around here. I put a mask on it here, make the mask black, take a brush of your choosing, make it white, and let's go zoom in to this character here, and there we go. What I like about this kind of blending is that it kind of gives a watercolor feel to it. You can see it kind of muddies some of the colors here, but I actually don't mind that. I feel like it's bringing in these colors together in a watercolor way. And also, I think one of the things I really like about it is that you can keep these edges here. If you look here, you can go along just the edges of here and still keep this hard edge. So this is really great for just filling in some big spaces, some more concise spaces, and actually it's probably the most general way that I blend. That's blending number one. Next, I do make use of the smudge tool in Procreate. The first thing is the texture smudge. So usually I take the Gaussian ink brush. Let's make another layer here. Take a color, put a little texture on top. Then I choose the smudge tool, the Gaussian ink again, and then just lightly like this. So I usually use this kind of blending for more textures and mostly for backgrounds, and you can see that's kind of keeping some of these colors behind and blending some of these colors at the same time, and it kind of keeps some of the colors underneath too. I like using this because it's very similar to how pastel works and traditional art works. It's nice because you can eyedrop some of these colors and put some of these colors back. The next way I blend is the smooth smudge, and usually I use a medium hard hard brush here, and just kind of go in lightly, tap some areas, and kind of smooth things out here. The number one reason I use this method is actually when I have like a line here. This is something the Gaussian blur blend doesn't do very well, but I can kind of stretch and blend certain lines here. So this is quite good for clothing, for example, like so. So I don't really use this for big general areas, let's say. The next way I blend is a soft smudge, and what I mean by that is usually I take like an area here with a selection tool. It takes a bit of practice to control the selection tool. Take a soft brush, and then it works more like a gradient more than anything. But if you really want like a soft sort of blend in bigger areas, this is probably the best way to do it for me personally. Next, I'm going to do a cell shade smudge, and this is a particular type of smudge where I take the Mercury tool. What the Mercury tool does is that it's kind of taking the color from this side here and the line here and then creating this color. So I could keep going with this, just going along the edges here like that. Like that. The number one reason I use this kind of blending is so I can kind of create more metallic surfaces, or I need a bit of a harder edge. But you can also take a medium hard brush or a soft brush, whatever brush you usually smudge with, and you can actually smudge these out for a more concise blend. You just kind of crisscross here and feather it out like that. We're gonna move on to a manual blend. Sorry, I mean manual blend. My spelling sucks, I know. Blend, and what I mean by a manual blend is basically the same as a cell shade smudge, but I can just take the color that I want. Usually I use a medium hard brush, kind of just tap these colors and feather it out. Let's do it maybe here. Just tap with these colors and feather it out. I think this is probably the Photoshop way of blending. I do not use this manual blending too much because it doesn't really save me any time. But you can see that I've just keep on eyedropping and feathering these colors out. And you can probably also see it's a bit time consuming, but if I want some more concise stuff, a cell shade smudge doesn't really work all that well. I use a manual blend. Thank you very much for listening. I hope it's helped some of you. Bear in mind this is just how I blend things, so I would love to know how you guys do it in Procreate or maybe in another program, and maybe if you're doing these techniques in another program, is it working for you? Yeah, so leave those comments down below. Thank you for watching.